Hello there, world history students. Let's learn all about the Industrial Revolution. Here we go. This is a dramatic change in the history of the world. People are going to start building factories. It's going to cause pollution and people moving into cities. Huge, huge change on planet Earth. Let's check it out right now. Oh, gotta click this button. All right. So here's some people hanging out in a factory. And then look at all this smoke and soot coming in the air out of these factories. People living in London, the factory life. It's probably a day, yet all the smoke coming out of the factories makes it just look like a dark night all the time. And here are some people struggling to get by in this new factory life. Okay, so this is the whole topic of this unit, the Industrial Revolution. The way that I teach it, you'll maybe get the wrong impression. You'll think that the Industrial Revolution was this kind of sequential, predictable thing in history, but the reality was it wasn't. This was about a 150-year period. Things were long, uneven, but the overall theme of the Industrial Revolution is that production is shifting from hand tools to complex machines. And most people on planet Earth used to be farmers. They used to live far away from cities. But that way of life isn't going to be as common anymore as soon as the Industrial Revolution happens. Also, people are not going to be able to travel around the world really quickly, and people are moving into cities more and more and more, and now we're living in crowded apartment buildings all close together. So let's check some of these graphs out here. So this graph will show you the world population, and I think it's quite telling that for almost the entirety of human history, there were about 1 billion people on planet Earth throughout the entirety of this class. Yet as soon as the Industrial Revolution happens, the world population is going to begin to grow at a very, very fast rate. So once we have these machines to help humans process in our society, we're going to have more and more people to deal with on planet Earth, that's for sure. Okay, and then here's sort of the levels of industrialization, and you can see that the winner of this graph here is this purple line, which is the United Kingdom, and they're the country that sort of started the Industrial Revolution, so they get a whole lot of credit for it. And then second place behind them is the United States, and then third place is Germany. So these countries are going to be big, big players now. All right, and then here's the world, and I think this is GDP per person, so this is sort of the amount of money any country makes. And the United States goes up really, really fast once we hit this period, which is the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution. And so let's check all that out. Okay, so yes, this is the most incredible period of change in world history. For so much of world history, the only way people could get around was by riding animals, walking, or using human-powered or wind-powered boats. Those are the only choices of transportation. But once this period of history happens, people are going to be able to get around in all kinds of ways. And, I mean, there's definitely going to be more stuff in the world. People are going to be building more things and doing more things in cities. But are there some bad parts of the Industrial Revolution, too? I can tell you pollution is a major concern. It wasn't really a big concern anywhere in the world before the Industrial Revolution. Now it's something that's really kind of scary in our world today. And also, like, this factory kind of society, it doesn't really relate to a sense of community among a group of people like the old way of life used to. So there's definitely good and bad in this period of history. So here's a bunch of people all working together, happy on their farm, working with their horses, feeding themselves. You know, the old life, the good life. There they are, doing things they used to. But then the factories move in, and people are now going to be working in factories, and it's definitely a different lifestyle for sure. Okay, so before I talk about the Industrial Revolution itself, let's learn about what sort of led up to it. And the thing that really did kick off the Industrial Revolution was these new changes in food production in the late 1700s. British farmers came up with two new really, really smart ideas. The first one is called crop rotation, And I've got this video. I'm sure I'll link it on Canvas. It's a crop rotation is this strategy where you can, on one year you'll grow wheat, and then on the next year you'll grow turnips. On the next year you'll grow cloves, and then on the next year you'll grow, I think it's like wheat again. And then you just keep cycling through the same crop over and over and over. And people realize that that is a really, really smart strategy, because before, people only really grew the same crop on the same land. And what happens over time is the soil in that land will get depleted, and it won't be very good at growing the kind of food you want it to grow. So as long as you just switch up what you grow in the ground every year, it'll restore the soil over time, especially turnips. They're these kind of magic crops that restore soil. So that made food production way, way, way more reliable. The other really intelligent thing was this guy Jethro Tull invented the seed drill. Here's two pictures of the seed drill down here at the bottom of the screen. And the seed drill is this really simple machine. It's sort of like a wheelbarrow, but then they made advanced versions where you could hook them up to horses. And the seed drill will kind of dig a hole in the ground. It'll put a seed in that hole, and then it will cover the hole up. And this just makes it so that you need far less people to do some of these basic farming procedures, and you can just have this machine do so many of the hardest work of farming for you. So that's the original seed drill right there. Pretty smart machine. And here's like a super seed drill attached to a couple horses. So it's going to really do a great work at planting seeds in the soil. Okay, and this agricultural revolution, it's going to make food supplies way more dependable. And so people now don't have to worry about starvation. Starvation's always been a pretty big concern in world history, but now we don't have to worry about starvation as much anymore. Humans can start doing other things with their time. And also during this time period, humans begin to live a whole lot longer. For most of human history, the average human died when they were 40. But now people, today I think the life expectancy is around 100. But you can see that graph down there in the bottom corner that just life expectancy all over the world is just going up and up and up because food is more reliable. So, yep, there's more seed drills right there. And then here's life expectancy. And sort of once the Industrial Revolution really gets going, life expectancy up, up, up. Pretty great. Okay, so for almost the entirety of human history, 95% of people on planet Earth were full-time farmers. There's a 100% chance someone in your ancestry was a full-time farmer. But with all these new farming techniques coming in, with machines doing so much of the work that humans used to do, people are no longer needed to work on the farm. So today in America, only less than 2% of our population are full-time farmers. And the United States is so good at growing food, we could, if we wanted to, feed 8 billion people on planet Earth. There's actually a policy where the United States government pays some of our farmers not to use all their land. We try to keep certain prices high of certain farm goods, so it's kind of crazy stuff. But yes, we could feed the entire world and more if we used all of our farming capacity to its full degree, with only less than 2% of our population doing the work. Here's a machine milking cows, and we've got a genetic engineering to make super chickens. There's all kinds of incredible stuff just to make food not a major concern anymore. And if people got food, they got to do something else with their time. And that's really what's going to lead into the Industrial Revolution here. So yeah, here's the old farming way of things, and the machines are now replacing humans. And you got this super chicken in the year 2008. It's like 4 times the size, and it's 20 days younger. So that's crazy. Big chickens. Here's a bunch of machines just farming all of our crops, robots milking cows, and over time, slowly, the amount of percentage of jobs in farming in the United States is now only 2% of all of our jobs. So this begs the question. All these farmers are now getting replaced by machines. What are all these old farmers supposed to do? They can't work on a farm anymore. So many of these farmers move into cities and try to get jobs in cities. And this concept is called urbanization, when people are moving into cities to look for work, look for a better life. And a lot of these people are going to end up working in factories in cities. This is kind of what's kicking off the Industrial Revolution here. Millions of farms in the United States. So as you can see, our farms were growing until about the 1930s, and now our farms are getting lower and lower and lower. And here's a whole family working in a city during the Industrial Revolution. Boom. Okay, so this will be a part of my next video, and I'll just talk about all the different inventions in the Industrial Revolution. All right, peace out.